The day before Revival Co's 2-year anniversary, as I was waking up out of a dream, I heard this phrase, my sheep hear my voice and they follow it, referencing John 10:27. I remember that I got up out of bed and began to wonder why this phrase came to my mind. I thought that maybe it would be a good sermon series on hearing the voice of God and following it. But that didn't feel quite right. I felt that maybe this was for me personally, so I prayed, I meditated on it, and I prepared to go for a walk in the woods as I habitually did every morning with a lot of questions in my mind, including why this phrase and why do I feel like I'm about to make an important decision in my life. As I was walking in the woods, I began to think on the phrase and ask God, what does this mean? Is it a sign? Is there something I should be aware of? Am I being led somewhere? But in return, I felt nothing, no answer, just silence. And in the midst of that silence, I began to feel this conversation erupt from the inside of me, where I began to express to God how I felt about ministry, about church, and about pastoring. And years had gone by, and prior to me even pastoring Revival Co, a lot of events had taken place within my church experience that were already altering how I thought about the church and how I related with other people. I remember walking through the woods and wondering, did I move to Tampa to die? Did I move to Tampa to realize that I missed God? Did I move to Tampa to find out that a lot of the things I dreamed of as a child growing up in the church were a lie? I kept getting kicked out of churches by pastors and other church leaders. I was called a heretic, a false teacher, accused of all sorts of horrendous lies, smeared by other people's jealousy, gossiped about, cursed by other Christians, kicked out by pastors because I was growing an influence amongst their own people. I was even accused of being a part of the Illuminati. Anyway, I never quit. I just forgave and moved on. And I poured out all my energy and my passion. I died to myself in order to serve well and to do what I felt was pleasing to God. It's really sad because since I was a kid, I always had this spark in my eye. I felt like I had this flame in my heart, this desire to love and care for other people, to make a difference as a ministry leader, to be different, to do better, and to be better as a pastor. But somehow people's opinions and my fears and insecurities got in the way of that, and I allowed for those beautiful things to be stolen away from me. Later on that same day, I remember coming across someone on social media. He was live and he was talking about the subject, my sheep hear my voice and they follow it. And in that talk, he described what it meant to hear God's voice and to follow it, and how sometimes God's voice leads you to this place called Selah. That word Selah is a musical term that meant that you would pause. And I love that he defined it as a divine pause. And so by the end of that day, I knew that a Selah moment was approaching my life. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know what this would lead to, but it was one of those instinctive feelings that I could not deny. I knew that a Selah was about to take place in my life. As the days went by, it was becoming clearer and clearer to me that it was time to pause ministry, to pause everything in my life, and to take the time to heal, to rethink, to recalibrate, to renew my mind, and to take the time to breathe and to just be, to just exist. I continue to ask God for just one more sign. And on a Sunday evening, while I was visiting this church in Orlando, I was highlighted to the minister. He began to pray over me, and while he was praying over me, I felt that God said to me that it was not just I who was going into this Selah moment, but that it was the whole ministry, the whole church itself.
Oh shoot, oh my God, I did not know you could record in 4K on your phone. No, the video's not over. I just wanted to interrupt to make an announcement that I will be launching a new podcast on all podcast streaming platforms, including YouTube. I'll be releasing short and extended versions over what has taken place over the last several years, including why I left the Spanish church and my time with Vibe, Revival House, Emerge Church, and Revival Co. I'll be covering topics and why I changed my mind about the rapture, tithing, church abuse, sexuality, spiritual warfare, demons, salvation, deconstruction, and everything that you want to know. Yes, I will be talking about it. I'll be sharing interviews with others who've gone through a similar process, whether it's church leaders, professionals, friends, and who knows, maybe even people who don't like me. It'll be challenging, thought-provoking, encouraging, clarifying, empowering, and well, I ran out of words, but you get the point. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification button if it's off. Follow me on social media at Maxwel C. Torres, where I will be updating you on everything that's coming up. And hey, let's interact. I'd love to hear from you, whether it's through the comments or if you wanna DM me. That's what lets me know to keep this going, and it also gives me an idea of all the other topics that I could cover. If you're enjoying this video, give it a like, give it a thumbs up. It will help the algorithm find out that I exist, and it also boosts my confidence. Yeah, I can't believe I just said that. That's really sad. But please, like the video. I know you're watching. Just like it.
At this point, Revival Co. has officially entered into its pause. Loved ones have expressed their temporary farewells. My car was loaded and ready to go. We left on Friday evening and we arrived Saturday afternoon. The entire transition process was not necessarily easy, but it was very smooth. Everything fell right into place. I believe that it was an alignment that only the divine could have orchestrated. The following 6 to 7 months became a time of stillness, of study, of questions, of staring, of wondering, of discovery, of answers, prayer, meditation, and more questions. Those months were truly a Selah, a divine pause. It was awkward, it was strange, it was uncomfortable, yet so necessary to go from a place of busyness to a place of stillness. I remember that the first question that came into my mind was, I think, the question that changed it all for me. The question was, who am I and what do I want in life?